Welcome back to DajibanLife, and in this episode I'm going to be fixing the top 5 most annoying things about my new Dajiban. And the first one was that squeaking noise, that clacking that I talked about in the when I redid my water pump. Turns out it was just a bad belt. The belt was probably stretched a little bit too much, so I got a brand new Gates belt, and that seems to have solved the problem of the squeaking noise and stuff. So that's gone. So that's number 1 fixed. Alright, so the second most annoying thing about this Dajiban is ever since I changed the door, I didn't change the door lock. So the door lock's right there, and it's basically just a locking, what do you call it? What are those things called? A wedge or whatever. So as long as I take that out, then the lock cylinder should come right out, and I just have to disconnect this metal rod here that connects it to the rest of the door assembly. So let me pop that off of this one and pop it off of the old door and swap them out, and hopefully then I'll have a working door that I don't have to keep reaching around. Do the reach around, you know? The reach around to unlock it and open it. So let me go ahead and do that and call that fixed. Alright, there's the old lock cylinder. Here's the new one. See if the key fits. Yeah, it's doing stuff. Make sure the little, what do you call it, comes up and down. Great, now I can unlock my door from the outside and not have to reach around. Alright, so I'm here at the old Dajiban, and one of the other annoying things about my new Dajiban is that it doesn't have this knob right here. Having this knob, looking at that knob, missing knob all the time, really bothers me and annoys me. So looking at the other one, it looks like this just sort of pops off. So I'm gonna try to pop this guy off without breaking it, hopefully. Well, this one was being sort of a bitch. So I just popped off the knobs of the other two. And hopefully one of those will work. Oh, it's on there. Now, does it, well, it looks better. Does it actually work though? Let's see. Let's see if I can start the car up. Yeah, no more squeaking, as you can hear. Very nice and quiet now as far as the engine goes. So let's turn this on. I think max is everything, right? So let's turn it on here. Oh shit! Oh man, the controls actually work. Alright, cool. Well, that's fixed. Alright, so the next most annoying thing is a Mushy brake pedal. So as you can see, I'm doing a complete brake flush. And I learned this trick from Chris Fix on YouTube. Chris Fix, all one word. And this is a one-man deal, a one-man brake bleeding. So I learned this method from him. See if it works. Try it out. Because I'm a one-man band here. Because I don't have any friends. Alright, that looks like it worked. It's definitely nicer looking brake fluid in the vinyl tubing, at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock it off there. I think that's pretty clean enough, because I did a bunch of pumps and it was this color, and I pumped it a few more times and it's kind of the same color. It's not really changing now. So I think that's as good as it's gonna get, and that's good enough for me. Alright, so that's all bled, and this method worked out really well. There's the old brake fluid. You can see it's pretty much black, but now it's more of a lighter brown shade. So I think that's as good as it's gonna get for now. I mean, unless I flush it like a lot and get all the brown stuff out of there. But it's already like 100% better. The pedal feel, I just drove it back and forth down that block right there, and it feels 100% more pedal feel. It's a little bit tighter, so I'm happy with that. Anything was better than what was there. So yeah, fixed. The next thing that is pretty annoying is this headliner. It's pretty filthy. and it just looks bad. So we got the headliner off. I had to actually use the visors out of the old van because on this van, the visors, they have these little prongs or whatever sticking out of the mounting plate, and on the receiving end on the van body, there's no holes for those prongs to go into. So this was meant to go into the styrofoam. There's styrofoam backing under here, and this was supposed to fit into that styrofoam, I guess, to keep it from moving. I don't know, I guess 3 screws is not enough. You need 3 more prongs on top of that to keep the visor in place, because you know it moves around so much when you're driving. Visor technology advanced in 3 years to the point of where they're like, oh yeah, prongs would be a good idea in the mounting plate. So luckily for me, the old visors did not have mounting prongs, and so they bolt directly to the body of the van, which is nice. And so I think I'm gonna just leave it naked like this, because this trim area right here, in my old van, this trim piece extended out to here, and then there was a middle trim piece, right, that covered. And so actually the visor receivers, or whatever these things are called, the hooks, are different in the old van because there's a trim piece here. These hooks actually, they bolt into the body, but there's like a prong on the back of the hook, right, that goes into the trim piece. That I kind of understand because there's only 1 screw, so the prong keeps it from, rotating. But on these new ones, instead of a prong, there's like this cross pattern, plastic piece that sticks out. So I actually had to trim those down a little bit, the plastic area of it, so customize it a little bit so that it sits more flush, because these, as with the visors, were meant to be used with like headliner, I guess, or like a styrofoam backing piece. So that cross pattern plastic thing would actually be inset into the styrofoam to make it all look flush. But because I'm not going to be using any kind of headliner or anything, I'm just going to truck bed line the entire ceiling all the way up to here, up to the windshield. And I'm not going to cover anything with trim. So it's sitting flush probably looks better. I mean, it's not completely flush. There's still a little bit of gap if you look from the side. And it's also mismatched because the colors don't match. Like this is beige, this is gray, and this is black. But whatever, it's not perfect, but whatever. Life's not perfect, right? Plus I could just probably paint it later. And so I would call that fixed. Alright, next top annoying thing for me about this van is there's some weird smell. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like cheap perfume and like antifreeze, like burnt antifreeze, but mostly it's like cheap perfume and like BO kind of a smell happening in here. So I know these vans, I don't think these vans have a cabin air filter to replace, because definitely the cabin air filter is probably, if there is one, is probably clogged up with like hair and all sorts of nonsense, So just changing that out would definitely make this van smell a lot better. Even though I cleaned it out, it should smell like lemons in here, but it doesn't. It smells like cheap perfume. So what I'm gonna do is I removed this vent. You watch me do it. It's pretty easy. It just pops off. Usually you just pop them off this guy and then carefully fish it out of these things. And then I'm gonna shove a vacuum hose down there and try to vacuum out whatever I can, as much as I can. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray probably some Febreze into these air vents. Just to maybe mask the smell more than anything. I probably won't get rid of it. Maybe something died in there, I'm not sure. So I vacuumed out all the vents and I sprayed some Febreze down there, but obviously it's sucking air in from outside or something, and it's now, the smell is like cheap, like it smells like a cheap hooker who sprayed her clothes with Febreze, you know what I mean? And so now I think I'm gonna go and try to spray some Febreze in the air recirc, and hopefully that works. Alright, here we go. spray some Febreze in there. I'm trying to make it mist as much as possible so it gets sucked in. Alright, let's see. Is it? Ah, yeah, that's a little bit fresher. Is this supposed to smell like fabric? Oh, okay, well. Yeah, it smells like fabric, kind of. It smells like ass and fabric. Like sweaty ass and fabric. I mean, I guess that's better than it was before. Hang on, let me close the door here. Alright, so I'm trapped inside the van, no fresh air. So I have to breathe in the ass smell. And it doesn't really smell that much like ass. I mean, kinda. But yeah, that seems like it's much fresher. It's like a musty ass now. It's like fresh, musty ass, you know? I wouldn't say it's better. I would just say it's different. It's a different kind of smell. I mean, yeah, it's not really better than it was before, it's just different. So, I mean, I tried. I think that's the end of the top 5 most annoying things about my new van that I wanted to fix, and I guess I fixed all 4 except the last one. The musty ass smell. At least it doesn't really smell like coolant anymore, like burnt coolant. I guess that could be because coolant was burning in the engine bay for a while, so maybe that all burned off. I did wash it off with some water, so that probably made it a little better. But this sort of cheap perfume, cheap hooker smell is just, smells like she did her laundry, you know what I mean? And she's still kind of around, you know? That's too bad. Like, you never want a cheap hooker smell to be permanent, you know what I mean? If that's permanent in your life, then you've done something very, very wrong if it smells like cheap hookers all the time. But you know, once in a while is okay. You know, you enjoy the smell of a cheap hooker every once in a while, but all the time, I don't know, man. unless you're some kind of pimp, a feather in your hat. Anyway, well, that's gonna be the end of this video. I fixed kind of the top 5 annoyances that I've had about this van so far. I mean, there's other things like this weather stripping down here will not stay on the door. It keeps falling off. But hopefully once I truck bedline this part of it'll have more more for the teeth to grab onto, and it won't fall off anymore. But that's been super annoying because every time I get out of the van it falls off pretty much. So hopefully that'll be fixed soon. I got some of this stuff in for the bed lining kit. I bought some Adhesion Promoter for some of these hard to get to places, like probably like these curves and stuff. Might be harder, first of all, to sand, and then yes, so for the unsanded bits it's gonna need more it's a mechanical adhesion, so I'm gonna need to spray some of that and some of these nooks and crannies and stuff on here, probably in like these areas here, so it sticks better. And the other thing that annoys me is not having a backup camera, obviously. I need to replace the rear doors as well. But for the backup camera, I was thinking about it, and the third brake light, instead of getting rid of it like a hentai Dajiban like I did last time, I think I might keep it. And what I might do is, I bought this Lexan sheet that's this is polycarbonate, and that's usually what headlights and stuff are made out of, is polycarbonate plastic. And so I bought a sheet at Home Depot, and what I'm gonna do is on the third brake light, you know how it's like a red piece, right? It's a red reflective whatever lens. So I'm gonna make a lens out of this clear sheet, right, and just trace it out on there. And maybe I might bake it or something to get just the red part of it off, or maybe I'll just ditch that entirely, so I don't need the housing anymore. But basically replace the red lens with this clear lens, and then maybe tint this or something. I could use window tint or just some of that VHT nightshade stuff on it, and then stick my backup camera inside of there. So my third brake light actually turns into a backup camera. And also that LED light strip that I got from it's for a motorcycle, but I put on my bumper on my old van. I think I might move that actually into the third brake light area, so I'll actually still have a third brake light, but also have turn signals. I measured it, and and I think the length is just right, that it'll fit into the third brake light area, and my backup camera right above it. So I'll show you guys all that once I do it. I think that'll be kind of a neat little project. This would probably be pretty easy, just cutting out the same shape for that, and then it might look kind of nasty in there, so I might need to tint it or something so it's harder to see through, because this is super clear. Like if you take the sticker off, like it's like glass, so you could see inside of the third brake light housing, and it's really dirty and gross in there. So I mean, I could clean it out, but I mean, it won't look nice anyway. I guess I could maybe even wire in some like reverse lights into there, so I have like this, or like a switch controlled lights in that housing, because the camera is not going to take up that much space. So I could get creative and add some lights in there that I can turn on, so that, you know, I have a bunch of light going out the back. I can add that stuff later too. It's not that big of a deal to do it, you know, all at once. It is easier once I have it all open. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this video, and hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.